Today we are here with Floral Prints. We got Nate and Paul here, and Josh is in Japan apparently. So welcome. How you guys doing?
Pretty well.
Good.
Pretty well.
Cool.
How
You
are
guys-
you?
I'm great. Are you guys quarantining together or just chilling?
We kind of like ended up being like quarantine, like, I don't know, partners, I guess, even though we don't
Yeah.
live together. Like, Nathan's been pretty much like the only person outside of like my partner that I've like seen pretty much for the past
Yeah.
like 2 months.
Yeah, and vice
Word.
versa.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, we'll talk about the beginnings of Floral Print a little bit. My bad. So if each of you could talk a little bit into how you got into music and then the band in general.
Ooh.
Whoever
Ooh, you
wants to
start?
go, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, we both played in like school band, like in concert band, and then like marching band. So like that was definitely
Yeah.
like a thing that weirdly like influenced us. I think just like the like practice regimen and stuff. But then I don't know. I would just goof around and do home recordings and didn't do anything serious. And had a band in college. Had some bands that didn't really ever go anywhere. And then I moved to Atlanta like a year after college and did this ambient project called Narrator. And it kind of like we're all friends now, but it kind of like imploded at the end. Like and the
One of those
last
things.
yeah. And the last two, we were all living together too, so that's kind of like that.
Oh, that makes it a little awkward, probably.
Yeah. And then the last two are just like we were all taking really bad care of the gear, or like I was. We were like throwing it in the trunk of the car, and it was like samplers and stuff. And like I just got so tired of. I just wanted to play guitar again because I was like, all I have to do is plug the guitar in.
Yeah. Yeah. Guitar amp done.
Yeah. Because at first it really was like that. Like I didn't have many pedals. Like I wanted, like it was supposed to be just like minimal. And then I wrote a few songs while Narrator was still going on. And then we started playing together, kind of took those songs, and then it's just like evolved since then.
Yeah. Take it. Anything to add, Paul? Or
Yeah, I don't know. I like definitely came through music through like band in middle school and like marching band. Josh is in marching band too.
Yeah.
Which is weird through line through all
We're
of
all very
us.
nerdy.
humble beginnings through the
Yeah.
marching band.
Yeah, I don't know. My parents are super musical, so they got me into all that pretty early. I'll say a fun anecdote is that I wasn't playing music as much as I wanted to before playing in Floral Print, just because I'd been in a lot of bands that sucked. I'm not gonna say sucked, but they weren't the best people to be
but
around
sucked.
with. But I ended up being like a freelance music journalist for a while and wrote about Narrator back in the day. Wrote a glowing review of, I don't know, something you put out. Really nice.
Something.
And then became Facebook friends with Nathan. And yeah, that was
awesome.
it's the genesis.
That's amazing. I love how people just kind of get connected from all these different like social circles and like I don't know, just how bands start. It's always fascinating to me. So I really appreciate you guys talking into that a little bit. And just another kind of general icebreaker. I'm just curious what musicians each of you take heavy inspiration from.
I feel like the first band we realized we both liked was like a lot was Animal Collective.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just got into them last year.
Oh really?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
You're down for a
Damn.
voyage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, favorite album from Animal Collective. They're too
Uh,
good. They're all too good.
yeah, it's sweet. It's like
Sung
like-
Tongs for me.
sometimes
Yeah,
it's probably it for me.
That's an easy answer.
Yeah.
Like the year. I think
I w-
Spirit They Vanished is very underrated.
Oh, for sure. I slept to like visiting friends so many times throughout the past year. Just like it, I don't know. Something about it that's just incredible.
I would probably pick Sung Tongs too, but then like that like Sung Tongs feels Strawberry Jam Merriweather like success.
Yeah,
It's like
that like
hard to top.
Mhm.
Yeah.
right. So Animal Collective.
Yeah, that was That doesn't
We all
like
agree on that one.
like all the time.
No, maybe like every once in a while. I think we've gotten some comparisons like once or twice.
When we first started out, because of the vocals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. And then I like Mark Kozlek and like Red House Painters and Sun Kill Moon a lot. And
Okay.
that's another one that doesn't necessarily come throughout. Don Cab,
Yeah.
Don Caballero.
Yeah. Don Caballero was killer.
Yeah. I feel like we had like different tastes and ended up being like complementary.
Yeah.
Like I think you were definitely more into metal than I was back in the day. I was probably like more into jazz, but I think there's like more commonalities there than you might think at first.
They're meshing so much now. Like,
Yeah.
okay, take Chan. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
jazzy math rock. Like,
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I definitely came through like Terra Melos and Hella and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Definitely freaked out for that back in the day.
But I mean, we've like tried to bring in like just like poppier side of things too. The Beatles was something recently where like
Yeah.
really went revisited and like got really into again.
The Beatles and even like the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
I never really like knew that much about Brian Wilson until my one buddy like was like, dude, this album is so sick. Like all the Smile sessions. I wrote an article on that. And yeah,
Right.
just all of the different. So yeah, it's cool. Like you guys come off with a little bit of everything and it really shows up in your music, I feel like. So I was just curious about that.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. And then I feel like just like touring, like we got introduced to so many good bands that like, I don't know, too many to count, but just like, you just see and hear so much good music that you wouldn't have gotten the chance to.
Right.
Yeah. I think what's been really nice is just that like the more we've toured, I think the more people that influence us or more people that we like know on like a personal level, which has been a fun process.
Yeah.
I feel the same way, like just getting into like the Kalamazoo scene a little bit and really diving in, being like, okay, here's all these artists I know and like really love. And, you know, you get people coming from out of town and it's just so cool. It's just this big network that, you know, a lot of people don't really know about. And so you just immerse yourself in it.
Yeah. And then everyone knows each other after you.
Yeah.
You just like realize like it's so tight knit.
It is. And that's amazing. So I talked to Dead Neighbors previously, and those guys are from like Athens, Georgia. So you guys are in the Atlanta area, correct?
Yeah, and I think they're all in Atlanta now too.
And they're all in Atlanta now, but
Yeah.
I was just curious about the general scene in Atlanta because they talked about it a little bit, but I just want your take on it, and then you know just comparing that to some other towns you may have experienced or just grown up with in terms of like musical leanings, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's like I don't even know if I can describe it now. I feel like it was different than when we first started out.
Yeah, like honestly, when we first started out, it was. I almost feel like we were. It's not like we're not connected to it at this point, but there's definitely just like certain bands that we know and we're friends with, and like new bands that pop up and we are into. But for a while, it was like there was just so many different people making so many different types of music, but everyone was still supportive of like kind of the mishmash of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely a lot of like really weird, like weird stuff in a good way. Like,
yeah.
And I feel like in some ways that's like not around as much anymore, or like,
or at least I just like don't know about it as much. Because like when we first started out, there was, I mean, this is still around just in a different form, but this venue called the Mammal Gallery had just started up with some musicians that were in this band Hello Ocho and some Fawn and a Pan Flute folks.
Yeah.
And we like were pretty much kind of like the house band at Mammal Gallery for a while. We played so many shows there. They're super, super nice people. Even practiced there for a while. And our friend Ada had turned this like cleaners that was half open into like a venue and hosted lots of really, really sort of like avant-garde noisy stuff there.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool like melting pot of stuff that like was super contradictory, but like ended up working in spirit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you have that. That's kind of the Bills in Kalamazoo. I feel like you have just a bunch of different sources of like musical inspiration coming through each of the projects, and yeah, you get like this really eclectic mix that you wouldn't really find in other places. Apparently Atlanta though too.
yeah, and I don't know. And there would be cool, I don't know. It wasn't always just like music. Like a lot of times, like there would be like art or like performance art or like
Yeah.
poetry, things like thrown in the mix, which I think people should do more. I don't know. It's cool.
Just experience, because it's a new experience every time you go through, and I don't know. I just love the mishmash.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So moving into the music a little bit more, how do you individually and collectively approach collaboration? I know there's like a gazillion ways to do it, but I want to know how you do it.
It's been different like throughout the whole time because we've been playing for what, almost 6 years.
Jesus, 6 years this year.
Yeah. And yeah, it's changed. Like I feel like because our first thing we did, it was like I brought in a few of the songs kind of that were almost fully fleshed out, maybe just a couple of them, but then we all kind of collaborated. And our friend George, who's in this band 100 Watt Horse, played bass with us. So we actually had someone writing the bass for that. But then on Mirror Stages, we jammed. We were living together at the time and jammed more, but we didn't have a bass player. So then I did write a lot of the bass part.
Yeah, so you pretty much did all of the guitar and the bass. I think the only bass part was that you didn't write was Ross on Yesterday's Grammar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Valentina.
Oh yeah, and Valentina. Yeah, and then I would do the drums and like some keyboards here and there. And then our friend Graham, who's always recorded us, always has lots of really good input, and is almost like a fifth Beatle situation a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just because we've gone through so many bassists that have also like influenced our sound a lot. But I feel like at our core, it's kind of been like just jamming between Nathan and I and, you know, various collaborators over the years.
Kind of as like a duo type of thing.
Well, then definitely the EP we just put out, and then the first half of the record we're working on now, it was like us and Josh jamming together. So it was a lot more like in the room, like let's write a song rather than like bringing in riffs and working outward from there. Like a lot of times we would just like have an idea all together.
Right.
Yeah. And Josh's like influences are super cool because he do you listen to 88.5 Georgia State's radio station at all?
I have not. Should I check it out?
Should. I don't know how much it has outside of Georgia, but it's pretty cool here. But he has been their music director for a long time, and he runs a Japanese music show called Mochi Mochi, and brings in lots of really, really cool Japanese city pop.
Like K-pop and
K-pop.
City pop.
And Shibuya-kei influences, which come through in his bass parts, even though he's a guitarist, which is funny.
Most of our players have been guitarists.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's usually how the transition happens. But anyways.
So yeah, I don't know. His bring his like influence, I feel like definitely added a really like special element that's been kind of recent for us.
And then I think moving forward it'll be different too, because like I don't know, there was like I was writing a lot of songs at first, and then we all started like kind of jamming. But now like Paul's like bringing in songs. Like Josh has a song that's brought in. We're playing with our friend Paris now, and we'll probably try to be like a 4-piece when things like settle down. So and Paris has songs, so like I think it'll be a lot more. I don't know, even more collaborative.
Right. And just even from briefly listening this morning to trying to remember which album I listened to. Mirror Stages. I was just I felt that like Animal Collective vibe a little bit too, while still being kind of like math rocky and like a lot of I don't know, like combining my favorite parts of a bunch of different artists into like your sound. I don't know. Like with the different collaborators you have, I feel like you get that unique taste from each individual person, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we kind of try to do. I think take what everyone brings to the table and just like
mash it.
Yeah.
A lot of mashing today. A lot of talk about
mash. Doing a mash. And this kind of ties into the next question. I was just curious about some of the advantages you would find with being a trio or a quartet or a duo, and how does like each instance shape your sound a little bit differently as a result? I know you kind of already answered that, but if there were like specific instances you could think of, and if not, that's okay too. I can just like cut this part out of the interview.
We were a duo for a couple years or something like that.
We would like basically have people that just learned the bass parts for tour, which was really stressful. But they did they all did great.
Yeah.
But it was like always like a month before tour, we're like, okay, you have to learn 7 songs.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. And I think like playing as a duo like was nice because one, it like forced us to kind of like compensate for the lack of like a third or like more people, and it also I think allowed us to develop like pretty, I don't know, unique and kind of weird musical communication, which has always been fun.
Yeah. It's very interesting to hear that. I was interviewing this kind of like metalcore outfit from Kalamazoo called Lucius Fox, and they're just a duo, but they have Jeremy, has the guitarist, he has 2 separate amps running. One's like for the bass and one's for the guitar, and this is basically octave pedals and a bunch of other pedals, and it's like this wall of sound, and I get mind blown every time I just hear it, you know.
Yeah.
So you can there's always ways to fill out the sound. It's just you got to think really creatively. And
and I feel like definitely we haven't played as with 4 people yet, so I don't really know, but like having 3 people, it's just like you can, a lot of times I think it opens a lot more doors like while you're trying to write the song, because like sometimes you just can't find your way out of some riff or something, but then someone else has an idea that you would have never had, and it kind of like makes it
sure. Yeah, and it adds to the table, like I've been saying already.
Mission.
Moshing and mission. All right, I guess final couple thoughts. Each member's favorite song that you've created together, and if you want to go from each album, that's fine too.
Ooh. It would be easier for me to do each album, I think.
That's fine.
Definitely Infinite Bliss Machine from Woo. Because I feel like that's probably us in our like most purest, most distilled Animal Collective form, at least towards the end.
Yeah.
What do we do after that? Mirror Stages?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Morning with Ophelia. We've been listening to that lately. Feel really nice about that lately. And then probably I Go Down on the Breeze.
On the Breeze,
that have lots of fucked up rhythms, and there's a little bossa in there. Love a good bossa every now and then.
Yes, gotta have the bossa in there.
I would second Breeze on the EP. Then going backwards, I don't know. I might be a poser and say Kevin is my favorite song from the stages, because that was like one of the first songs we played where people would like, we would get to the middle part and people would like clap a little bit, and we'd be like, whoa, people like
care and know our song.
Are clapping. Or I guess what I mean is it was one of the first songs where like there was like consistently a crowd reaction. Like I have some good memories of that. And then
off Woo.
Maybe the first song El Cerrito Plaza.
Okay.
Because that might have been the first. That was the first Floral Print song that got written.
Oh, so wow.
I like it for that reason. But these all change all the time. I don't know.
But as of this moment, these are the things. So I made a little playlist of that, so I'll share that out eventually.
Oh, cool.
Of everyone's favorites. And then I guess final advice for any musicians dabbling with creating a band or creative type of project.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. I would say don't put so much space in between you and the music you love, because I think it's very easy to like know what you like and feel like you're a million miles away from creating your like own tastes. And I think if there's one thing that like touring and like getting to play with bands that we love is like done for me at least, is like realize that there's not like, there's not some pedestal that all these like amazing musicians are on, and you're constantly like, looking up at them. there's like, you know, people that you respect can be your like friends, and you don't have
Yeah.
to like, you know, be so intimidated by the idea of putting yourself out there.
You're like on the same level then, basically.
Yeah, because like I just remember it seemed like impossible to tour or something at first, or like you have to have like a booking agent or something, and it's like no,
Yeah.
you like bother people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that advice. Yeah, I get that. Like the touring idea can seem like really intimidating until you dive into it. I personally haven't done one myself, but like that's something on my bucket list for sure. Of just, okay, screw it, we're going in. Like we're doing this,
Yeah, then it'll happen. Like as long as you go in with that attitude, it'll happen.
For sure. So any upcoming, you were talking about the work you guys are, talking about the album you're working on. How's that going right now?
It's good. I feel like there was a lull, but because of the whole virus thing, or like I don't know, we finished the A side of this album, and we
Where-
have that pretty much done. We did that with Josh, but then we kind of want to have a suite for the whole B side where it's like a seamless like one thing. And we have the pieces, and we're just trying to fit them together now.
Mars Volta style with Cassandra Gemini.
Yeah, it's like a concept album about like aliens.
About coronavirus.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you guys follow like Jared Alonji or anything, but Canadian Softball put out like it's basically a complete like meme cover of all the American football stuff, and he calls it Canadian Softball, and they did like a coronavirus song. Like there's so many bands doing that now. It's just you should hop on the train.
Yeah.
Just why
More
not?
meme rock out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's about all I have. Y'all got any final thoughts, or we all good?
No, thanks for making it a chill interview.
Sure.
Wish we could hang out.
Yeah.
We'll have to hang out after all the
Come to Kalamazoo sometime.
I will. We've been wanting to come. We've never played Michigan.
No, we were almost playing Detroit.
Yeah.
We had a date set at the UFO factory in Detroit, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, and it was literally we hadn't toured since like last August, and we were like all pumped, and we were like beginning of April, like first week.
Yeah.
And then it was like right when everything, whichever, like, I feel bad for people, like a lot of bands. I feel like it really like financially affected them, or like they were in the middle of the tour and then just had to drive like days.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's rough. That's truly rough. I will say though, instead of Detroit, come out to Grand Rapids, because that's
I've heard good things about Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids is pretty sweet. It's kind of I feel like it's a similar community space like Atlanta, in the sense of just there's a lot of different things going on, and kind of a scene there too. But yeah, I don't know, just a thought.
No, yeah, we'll
get
check
out.
it out. Yeah, when things.
We can hit up a Kalamazoo house show one night and then play Grand Rapids the next. Who knows? So.
Anything could happen.
Good 2-week Michigan tour.
Yeah, 2-week Michigan tour. Just like make it to all these tiny towns, and they're like, "Who's Floral Print?" And they come and they're like, "Oh, this is actually awesome."